The legend of Albus Dumbledore, the beloved headmaster of Hogwarts, was built upon wisdom, kindness, and an unyielding fight against dark forces. To many, he was the beacon of hope, the one who had guided Harry Potter through the most harrowing of times, always knowing what to do, always one step ahead of the darkness. But behind the smiles, the brilliant speeches, and the reassuring words, there lay something darker. Something that Harry never truly understood until the final confrontation, the true nature of Dumbledore's plan. Harry had always trusted Dumbledore. Even when he didn't have all the answers, Dumbledore always seemed to know what to say, what advice to give, how to make Harry feel as though his fate was not his own to decide. But as the pieces of the final battle started to fall into place, Harry began to question everything he had been told, everything he had believed about the great wizard who had protected him. One part narrative. The final realization, it was the night before the battle at Hogwarts, and Harry sat alone in the room of requirement, his heart heavy with the weight of the choices before him. The war was coming to a head, and everything, every life, every moment, every friendship, had led to this. But there was still one question that lingered, unanswered, haunting him since the moment he had learned the truth. Why had Dumbledore never told him the full truth? The final Horcrux had been destroyed. Voldemort was near, the endgame was upon them, and yet Harry could not shake the feeling that he was missing a key piece of the puzzle. Dumbledore had always seemed to have a plan, always known what needed to be done. But now, with the weight of the prophecy hanging over him, Harry wondered if he had ever been more than just a pawn in Dumbledore's game. He had learned about the prophecy years ago, the one that spoke of the chosen one, the one who was destined to defeat Voldemort. He had accepted it, perhaps naively, but now that the pieces were finally falling into place, Harry wondered, had he truly been chosen? Or had Dumbledore manipulated him into believing he had no other choice? Harry's thoughts were interrupted by the quiet sound of footsteps. He looked up to see Severus Snape, his face as unreadable as ever, standing in the doorway. Snape had been a figure of suspicion for Harry ever since their first encounter, but the recent revelations had added more confusion to the equation. Dumbledore had trusted Snape, but how could Harry trust a man who had spent so many years seemingly working for the other side? And yet, there he was. "Potter," Snape said quietly, his voice colder than usual. "You need to stop moping. You have a battle to fight tomorrow." Harry felt a flicker of annoyance. "You don't get it, do you, Snape? I've spent my entire life believing that there's some grand plan, that I'm meant to do something, meant to be something. But now I realize that it's all been for nothing, that Dumbledore's plan was nothing but manipulation. I've been nothing but a pawn in his game." Snape's eyes narrowed, and for a moment Harry thought he saw a flicker of something in the professor's gaze, something close to pity, or perhaps regret. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by his usual disdain. "You think you were the only one in Dumbledore's plan?" Snape scoffed. "You've been too caught up in your own narrative, Potter, too focused on the idea that you were the center of everything. You're not the only one who had to follow orders. You're not the only one who had to sacrifice." Harry stood up, his voice rising in frustration. "You think I wanted this? You think I wanted to be a part of whatever twisted game Dumbledore was playing? You have no idea what it's like to have your life dictated by someone else's choices, to feel like you're not in control of your own destiny." Snape's expression softened, just for a moment, before he spoke again, his tone quieter. "You may think you were a pawn in Dumbledore's game, Potter, but you were also his greatest weapon. He knew what you were capable of, even when you didn't. He knew that you would do whatever it took to defeat Voldemort, and he trusted you to make the right choice, even when he could not."